Okay, so now we'll go into our chart screen and we'll make some adjustments to the charting on the unit so we can better use the GPS. So what we'll do is we'll hit menu, we're going to go to chart options. First thing I'm going to do is change from north up to heading up. This will now point my boat at the top of the screen and I'll have a north indicator there to show which direction is north for orientation, rather than having it in north up mode where north is always at the top. This can sometimes have you driving down the screen and it can be a little confusing. When an island's to your right, it's to your right in this mode, whereas in north up it would actually be looking what would be behind you here. Course up will then obviously allow you to run your course running up if you're navigating to a waypoint. Heading up is the one to select. Look ahead is the next feature I use. It'll move your arrow from the center of the screen to the bottom. This will allow you to see more of what's ahead of you. 3D will tilt the screen so it's a 3D view. This is something I don't use, so I always turn that off. In view here, this is pretty much all personal preference in my opinion. You can select how you wish your Navionics chart to display. Personally, I don't use a lot of these functions. I just read the map as is. In our settings menu here, I will make some changes here. Presentation type, I like US mode. The color palette is a little bit nicer in my opinion than the international. Safety depth I set to 18 feet. You're going to want to have all your contours and all your chart details on. A couple other settings we need to make are into the menu system here. We'll go to System. We're going to go to Chart. We also have the ability to do range rings, which are similar to what we find on Structure Scan to let you know how far away different items are from you. You can also do heading extension and course extension. The heading extension is quite useful. If we back out now, we have this line ahead of us. That will give us an idea as to what direction we're heading. This will be very helpful when you're drift fishing. This will allow you to see which way your drift will line up depending on wind. A lot of the times your drifts aren't exactly the same direction as the wind will go, so this will show you exactly what you're going to hit. So it's perfect for lining up structure for a drift you want to use. Other information in here, we can choose to display our trails, our waypoints. We can have grid lines on. None of these functions I really like to use. You can play around with that as you choose. In navigation though, one very important thing I find is logging type for trails. I like to set this to time, and I like to change the time to every 1 second. This will increase the amount of points you have per trail and will eat those points up quite a bit quicker than normal. However, your trails will be much more accurate rather than just allowing the unit to determine when it needs to update the trails. I find this is very helpful when you're fishing at slower speeds on the trolling motor or possibly not moving much at all.